Gary Lineker's tweets often make the news, where you can snore very quickly. In the Times, James, Jewish groups particularly are pretty cross about Gary Lineker's latest sort of a little bit of a political intervention. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, it basically goes further than he's done before, which is obviously involved in politics. There was the thing last year when he was criticising the government, comparing the immigration policy to the 1930s. This time he's called for Israel to be banned from international football. He's retweeted a post calling for that. I suppose it's just another example of going up against the line and having been failed to be called out by the corporation before, he's just going to get further. And unsurprisingly, then you've got a series of Conservative MPs saying that ill-informed nonsense, a deeply inappropriate tweet for any BBC figure to endorse. And yeah, I mean, talking to people at the BBC over the weekend, a couple of them were a bit like, why on earth has he done this now? So it's another example
He's
of
done it
getting
now
into
because
spit.
the BBC is... Gary Lineker's bigger than the BBC. They bowed down to him last time. I'm all for free speech. He's not a news reporter, so that... And do you know what? Almost bored of having this conversation, because every single time we talk about it, he probably plumps his feathers even more and goes, they're all... Just leave him to say what he... Does my head in. Honestly, worse than Rwanda. Gary Lineker today has said something and we all get hugely excited about it. We're not going to stop him, are we? They're not going to stop him, are they?
I suppose it's interesting if an international football commentator decides to call out one nation-state, given the various atrocities that are committed.
He's in Qatar taking £400,000 working for a Qatari television station and spends the opening segment of the World Cup not doing that, but slagging off their human rights record. If that's not duplicitous, two-faced hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
Completely. Well, it's just, as I say, I feel sorry for people at the corporation who feel
I feel the same way about all of your sentiment, apart from I do think that he should be allowed to do it. The BBC have been very clear.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm saying the Qatar thing, to me, was appalling. You're slagging off. If that's your opinion about Qatar, fantastic, but don't take 400 grand to work for their television station. That's hypocrisy.
Sure, but you could argue that if you wanted to do some activism, it's better to be there having the conversation than to not be involved in it at all, right?
We'd never get to the end of a sentence. God, it's like honestly fantastic. You've got an answer for everything.